Hello and welcome to Apex Racing TV and the Apex Racing League Renault 3.5 Championship. I'm Seth Fitzpatrick alongside me, and also on the cameras this afternoon is Marco Barbner, and we are here at the legendary Suzuka circuit in Japan for round 4 of the season. And Marco, we've seen 3 really good rounds so far. This man so far dominating the championship with 5 out of 6 wins so far, Martin van Loozenhout. He has been beaten though this season, and this Suzuka circuit sure does offer a lot of different challenges to the more conventional modern circuits.
はい、こんにちはとこんばんは。Marco Barbera です。明けましておめでとうございます。Welcome. I ended to that. Sorry, I got one of my teammates.
I forgot that you are an a Japanese expert.
Yeah, like expert is a big word, but one of my teammates said you have to do an introduction in Japanese, and I should have done that in week 13, which was more appropriate. But we had to rush a bit for that, so I saved it for today. You are right. Martin van Loozenhout, absolutely the dominator of the championship. He won 5 of the 6 races that we had. At Road America, he was great in race 1. In race 2, it was, but he had his teammate Boris Furstra following him closely. He couldn't make the, he was just missing that little bit of speed that he needed to get the pass done. And so they finished 1, 2, and 3 with Danny Cruz in third place. In the second race, Spoelstra was leading, and we had Van Loozenhout in second. The situation was exactly the same because Van Loozenhout wasn't able to close the gap on his teammate, but we had a lapped car spin in front of Spoelstra, and poor Boris flew out of the racing surface and into the woods surrounding the track, and that ended the victory to Martin van Loozenhout as practice is over. So, as you notice, we have it's the third livery change for the Learn to Drive guys. The first time they are keeping it the same livery for 2 races in a row. I'm looking forward to this round because, like you said, this track is particularly tough, very technical track. I think we'll see some great racing because this car can run behind each other. They can run behind each other, and I think with a couple of long straights that we have, we can see some great moves, especially in the final chicane. If these guys are able with the eye downforce package to follow through 130R, so I cannot wait for this race.
Yeah, I assume 130R is going to be flat out today, which will, of course, promote overtaking there. But of course, only 39 degrees track temperature, so quite warm. 23 ambient temperature at the moment. Of course, that might change for the race. This qualifying session, I would normally say, it was deliberate. Unfortunately, it wasn't deliberate. We've only got 1 lap of qualifying. So it really is make or break. Expect a couple of drivers to be quite far down the grid. This circuit isn't necessarily one which is easy to pick up a 1x round. You don't necessarily gain too much time, but of course, Spoon and maybe 130R as well. Possibly maybe running over the grass and maybe pick up a 1x. And of course, that would really ruin your qualifying because you'd be starting from the back of the grid. But of course, like you said, Marco, the couple of long straights overtaking though still isn't going to be easy. It's a narrow circuit, this. And I think as the defending driver, you've always got the advantage over your opponent.
Exactly, and of course, it's going to be interesting to see in the second race, especially with the double distance, how these drivers, like I say this every race, of course, how they will manage their 8 activations of the DRS, which I remind you, to all the new viewers, by the way, hello to everyone watching us on YouTube as per usual, but we have been doing have some changes, and now we are also streaming every race that we do, both on Twitch and Facebook Live as well, so you can follow us on any platform, so you have no excuses basically to miss the races. You can follow them everywhere. And I have to say, speaking of Facebook, I absolutely love the way the streams work there. They are much more smoother than on YouTube for whatever reason. So I mean, you can follow us wherever you want on your favorite platform or mobile phone app, the one that works best on your mobile device. So thank you for watching this, and hopefully we will bring you two very nice races. Now, Sam, yesterday during the Euro V8 Media Day, I told you I learned something about one of the drivers of the championship, and I don't want to sound stupid because maybe everybody knew this, and I was the only one in the dark. I was watching. I was watching some TCR European TCR Championship races. We are talking about real life racing, of course. And the round in the they had a round in Zandvoort in 2018, and in race two there was a name in pole position, and this name I said, I mean, I know this guy. I've heard this name, and it was Danny Cruz. So Danny Cruz, a real life driver. So it's always nice to have some real life drivers on iRacing and doing championships. And he's a very young driver, and it's a big difference from a TCR front wheel drive car to one of these beasts. So he usually comes with us for an interview after the race. I would love to ask him about his career because he's very young, and of course still learning the ropes of racing. And I want to know what he has in store for next season.
Yeah, very interesting. Always good to see, real life drivers, and of course there is a big correlation. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Some of the real life drivers can just hop in, rather frustratingly for the mere mortals of us all, and straight away be on the pace. It really does commend iRacing how realistic it is. So far, none of the drivers have gone out. This is a bit like one of those really bad F1 qualifying sessions, isn't it? Where everyone's just waiting. There's like an advantage staying out till the end, but it's going to be more interesting. I must say, Mark, this is very odd. I realize they have one timed lap,
Hmm.
but they, if I was like a midfielder or a driver near the back, I'd go out there right now. You're guaranteed a clean lap. And, well, the track temperature, I think, is only increasing, although very slightly. Although, actually, I did say 39 a few minutes ago. It's up to 41 now. So, better get out there sooner rather than later.
You know, I don't know if you remember, but when in Formula One they had the 1 hour qualifying session, especially in the final few years of that format, which I think why they scrapped it in the end, it was really bad because for the first um, like 30 minutes every time, no one would come on the track. It was absolutely frustrating. And you could hear people from the stands booing, and in the end, they scrapped it. The only cars running around in the beginning of that qualifying session were the slow cars like the Minardis or the BAR of the time. So it was yeah, it reminds me of that, to be honest. And let's see if we have some. We have Martin van Loosenhoorn in first, Boris Spoelstra, then Matteo Calestani. So I don't know if there has been a mistake and it counts the lap as they come out of the pits. I'm not sure about it. Let's see Danny Cross coming out of the pits right now. We'll see. We'll see, of course, how we will. He has this. We talked about this. He's very quick, and now we know why he's very quick because he's a real life driver. He's just missing a little bit of consistency, and he scored some nice podiums in the season, some good comebacks. But I think he wants to have a clean race day in both race one and race two, which he still has because he had some problems in race two at Road America, but thanks to the very high attrition rate of that race, he was able to finish on the podium both in race one and race two. Race one was absolutely great. Race two was a little bit lucky, but you have to be there to win in the end, to win, to get a podium, get a good result. So good for him, as looks like everyone has set a time in the top 13.
Yeah, apologies for what I said previously. I couldn't see any cars on track for some sort of reason, so that was why I was commenting how no one had gotten out. But no, everyone had gone out and then popped back into the pits. Of course, yeah, one lap only for these drivers, and yeah, Martin Van Leeuwenhoek seemingly the man to beat once again, but it is quite close between the top two with Kalastani and Newton actually doing pretty well, up in fourth position currently. That midfield battle through the season has always offered a lot of entertainment, of course, Danny Cruz as well. Seemingly, the driver who has been caught out not setting a lap so far. Just seeing if that lap was invalidated. No, he just hadn't set a lap whatsoever. So yeah, Danny Cruz maybe still has an option if he wishes to take it. Just 1.5 more minutes of qualifying to go. And then we will be gridding up for, of course, this meeting 4 of the season, round 7 of the championship. And of course, it is Martin Van Leeuwenhoek leading by a long, long way. And well, I guess Van Leeuwenhoek, he could still lose the championship. You know, Spolstra has a couple of strong meetings. He might still be able to get himself into it. But I feel like he's just got an X on his back now. He's the man that everyone wants to beat. And there's not a whole lot to lose for everyone else in comparison to him.
Yeah, I'm watching Van Loosenor's qualifying lap, even though I don't think we will have enough time to watch it in its entirety, because I'm quite sure these guys came out of the pits, and that was their lap time. And I was reading the race, from the race director chat. It was an error on a racing side because they set it up correctly. I'm seeing that on the live timing, everyone did one lap and a bit. So when you come out of the pits, the live timing software starts tracking your lap. So that was one lap, and I think the few meters after the checker flag when they finally stopped was the bit that they also did. So I think it was basically come out of the pits, push immediately, and that is your qualifying time. I think. So we'll see, because it's a very very weird occurrence, and now finally the session switches over. We promise you it's going to be much much more exciting than what we just witnessed. And Sam, I think we can go through the starting grid.
Yes, Martin van Leeuwenhoek on pole position once again, the only man under the 100-second mark. Then it's Boris Spolstra in second place. Matteo Calastani starts in third with Scott Newton in fourth. Then it's Byron Daly in fifth, Richard Kavenke in sixth. Then it's Thomas Knoll, David Cudmore, Adam McNally. It's rounds out the top 10. Sorry, Anthony Mott rounds out the top 10. Then it's Raul Alvarez, Massimo Berta, and Billy Rosos were the drivers who set times. Actually, Beard, that mug called Sam, didn't set a time either. Danny Cruz and Kip Stevens as well. Hopefully, a few of those will take the grid.
I think they will. I think it's going to be a great couple of races here in Suzuka. We have a very colorful grid. I think almost everyone has. Of course, we will have to wait for the entire 2 minutes of the gridding proceedings, because even if everyone grids a certain Sam Fitzpatrick, who has now gridded, by the way,
Well, I think if I escape, it might advance.
it,
No,
it
it's
should,
well,
but we are waiting for Kip Stevens as well.
yes. So
So, but you did a good, no, good move, because if when now when Kip joins the grid, if he joins the grid, we are going to start the race immediately. Uh, we have also to remember that Sam Fitzpatrick didn't pay his fee for entering the championship, so I'm
oh, don't
expecting
go down that alley.
I'm expecting a big fine after the race. But all kidding aside, 5 seconds away and then the lights will start. So I think we are ready for this first race of the afternoon.
Yeah, here we go. Martin van Leeuwenhoek, Boris Spolstra, front row of the grid here at Suzuka. 20 minutes of racing, and away we go. And it's a really nice start there from Van Loosenhoid. He's a long way ahead of the rest of the field. Maybe just looking down the inside spot, he wasn't quite alongside there. Kalistani still in third. There's not too many changes out there. I think Thomas Knoll just going a little bit wide. And, well, not going wide is David Cudmore. He's on the inside of the track, and that's not worked out for him very well whatsoever. But out in the lead, Van Loosenhoid just stretching his legs ever so slightly. The pack will spread out through this part of the track due to the turbulent air, and the front runners already establishing their dominance. Thomas Knoll, he didn't actually lose too many positions. In fact, he's looking to gain a position. Started 7th. He's looking at 6th right now as they go through this section of corners into the hairpin potentially. He could try the Kamui Kamikaze maybe, but I think he's just going to be too far behind in that Renault livery.
Beautiful Renault livery as per usual. In front we have, of course, like you said, Van Loosenhoord and Spoelstra, two very, very familiar names. Kalestani is in third. And look at that, we have Scott Newton also joining the party. Of course, our colleague at Apex Racing TV, and a big fan of, it was, of course, the old Williams F1 car. Now a car that really suits his style, I think, this Formula Renault 3.5. Like they say in that league, he also races in no batteries needed, and that's what Scott likes. Of course, its battery is not included. Apologies. You get the gist of it. I think we had a problem for Ashley Beard and maybe some other driver, because we have Ashley being very, very distant himself from the pack, as Thomas Knoll and Adam McNally are battling it out, and also in front of them I see Kalestani under pressure from Scott Newton as well.
Yeah, Kalistani usually is a great qualifier. Dropped a little bit of pace during the race, so maybe that good position of P3 might not be representative of his race pace, but he has just pulled away a little bit from Scott Newton. Adam McNally trying to put some pressure on Thomas Knoll. All quite close to Richard Gaffenk, who currently is Scott Newton. Yeah, he's 7/10 of a second behind. What is that, those two double apex corners that these drivers are now going through? I forget the name, Marco.
Degner,
that's it. I won't call them Lesmo. Oh, and off the circuit there. And really losing out through the Degners is Max Bertzer. And straight through goes Danny Crows. And we've got a spinner as well. I think that's Scott Newton, isn't it?
No, it's Anthony Mott.
Ah.
Anthony Mott was around. Yeah, at the moment, what I'm seeing from my perspective, even though Scott has lost lost one spot to Byron Daly, I think. As Adam McNally also around that spoon and back on the gas, losing many positions. I am seeing Scott with a very unpainted car, like just coming out of the shop, because it's all carbon fiber and no logos. So I think the painters at Apex Racing UK are still working on a new livery for this car.
Yes, clearly. I got so used to it when the Apex Online racing leagues that we used to broadcast. He had quite a big shunt actually around this circuit. As Danny Crows goes back to the pits. So what's happened to him? He was making nice progress up the field.
I think he had a crash. Final chicane, all seems okay. Then he lost the car and went in. So maybe he was sporting some damage, because I don't think that just a spin is enough to put him out of the race. So I think maybe he was... remember, he started from way back in the pack, and we had some cars flying left and right just at the beginning of the race. So maybe he got some damage, especially in the first corner. We had some trouble there.
Great move there from Ashley Beard, just going past David Cudmore. Cudmore trying to make a move on his opponent when there wasn't really a chance. And now they're going too wide into the Degners, but that's really not an overtaking chance unless you're Josh Thompson, who I remember pulled off an incredible move at that corner in the BSR GT. But still Billy Rose just holding up those justice. Another Excite driver goes off, Anthony Mott. He's not having a good time of it currently. And here comes Beard. And he's alongside. He should be able to have the speed on the outside here. Easy flat, for, of course, in these conditions for these cars. And well, you'll have the inside for Spoon. And well, that's very simple for him there. Now, I think Cudmore is right on the tail of Rose. McNally off again.
Yeah, he doesn't like that corner like me. I absolutely hate spoon because it's a because
It's tough, isn't it?
I don't like it because I'm not talented. Adam is certainly much more talented than me, so it's just a matter of getting acquainted to that corner. So we have a nice train of cars here because we've got McNally, Beard, Mott, Cadmore, and Billy Rose as well. Whilst at the front, Sportstra and Van Lusen are second and first, Calestani, and then we have Daly and Scott Newton here as we have Dave Cadmore pointing the wrong way in the grass on the front stretch. So
Solar
certainly,
flag.
and he's missing the front end of his car. Oh,
Ooh.
what was that?
Not sure who came across on who that. Here is Billy Rose's perspective on the incident. So of course they were racing prior to this. Trying to actually come back at him then. So Billy Rose has just been overtaken. Leaving plenty of room at this point. Now who comes across on who? Who?
Oh, there was a massive lag contact there.
Yeah.
I think we can
So
get
no chance for either one. It would have been a nice move actually from Billy Rose, a nice little dummy, but wasn't to be.
we can get a view from up above. You might see it from here. Oh, of course we are right there. Just as they touch, we go past the the advertisement board. So tough luck. Back live, and the sun has come out of behind the clouds. McNally is defending from his teammate Ashley Beard. So they are both trying to catch up to Max Berta in front of them.
Yeah, McNally having to recover through the field and Ashley Beard as well. Of course, teammates, so they're not going to compromise each other too much as they go past Max Berta. Was up 4 places from his starting places. Now up 3. And in that orange livery, I think it's only a matter of time until he falls back down to the lower reaches of the top 10. Now McNally, wow, he's got 15 seconds to catch up to Thomas Knoll. Big divide in the field seemingly today in terms of pace. And, well, that's not going to be... he's not going to make up that one unless he's being given a massive favour. As Beard, nice move there. Nicely positioned his car on turn-in and a much better run out of the corner up into 9th place.
Nice move there. Back to the
Billy
front.
Rose, by the way, sorry, has been given a black flag. Lap 3, front straight.
So that was the crash that we saw earlier.
Well, that's... Well, we shouldn't doubt the stewards, but
No,
we thought it
absolutely.
was netcode, personally. But, well, oh, and I think he's just hit the wall there. Has he? Billy Rose? Seemingly spun it out of the hairpin, and there he is. It's not too much damage seemingly on that car, but, yeah, not good for him at the moment.
No, absolutely not good. Maybe we can catch a replay of that coming out of the... No, this was much earlier. I think so. Let's have another look at this from David Cadmore rear camera. And we slow it down because we are such big professionals. No,
You are, Marco, you are.
I'd say there was contact. The
Maybe,
front
yeah.
wing disappeared into the camera. So probably that was there was contact. It's always tough, especially to judge it live and from the different views that we have, because one camera might show something. There is Scott Newton pointing towards the wall, coming out of Degner too. Let's see if he's okay. Let's jump on board with him. Front right of his front wing seems to be damaged.
Down into 7th place. Well, we were talking earlier on how Adam McNally would need a favour if he was going to gain any places. Well, that is a favour and a half, and it's a favour and a half to a few other drivers as well. Running well in 4th position. Oh, sorry, 5th position. And into the wall. As long as he hasn't got any steering damage, he should be okay to hang on to that pace. He had a massive crash in the AOR League at this corner here, ran onto the gravel and spun the car into the wall. So maybe not a big fan of this circuit is Scott, although everyone likes this circuit, don't they? But yeah, not having an easy time of it so far. And hopefully, though, he could well be a dark horse for the second race. Now, of course, we get a reverse grid.
Last 4 laps that we had, Van Loosenord is steadily gaining very, very little per lap. He lost 1/10 in lap 3, then gained 1/10 in lap 4. They were equal in lap 5 and 2/10 in lap 6 as Scott Newton goes to the pits. That front wing damage sadly is a bit too much for him. As we are back. So this, by the way, Scott Newton has created this fantastic, implemented in the overlay this fantastic um, display that shows basically the difference in the last 4, 5, 6 laps, depends on what you put in it. It's absolutely amazing.
Sure is. It's actually going a little bit off topic, but if anyone else is signed up to F1 fan voice, there was a little bit, and a little bit of a spin there, almost found McNally. But yeah, there was a poll for some of the new ideas for the F1 overlay, including, I think it was a projected pit stop time where it projects how far ahead a driver is going to be when they come to the pits. We may well need to implement that. So that would be a very cool thing, and a couple of others as well. So it'll be very interesting next year to see what F1 can do with that. Says Ashley Beard again all over the place. That yeah, his rear wheels not fancying their treatment too much so far, Marco. And yeah, both drivers really struggling right now.
Absolutely, this is the battle for P7. By the way, we have got 13 cars on the lead lap right now. And one lap down, of course, no, one or more lap down are the cars that have crashed, sadly. Martin Valusuner is about to lap someone as Raul Alvarez and Scott Newton are side by side. And Newton completes the pass before running into 130R. I think it was Billy Rose right in front of the leaders, exactly. Van Loosener goes through. And Spurstra looking to do the same. A problem for McNally, I think. Yes, he spun coming out of the first corner, second corner. Oh, I think he's got some bigger problems than just a spin because he's having trouble getting the car right and back on the black stuff. And now he does, I think, some damage on the front wing for him.
Yep, here it was under pressure from his teammate. And yep, just over-rotated, and that's yeah, quite a big incident. Scott Newton, of course, pitted to fix that front wing. We didn't see that, but that's why he was just overtaking Raul Alvarez. So and that was a much minor contact in comparison to Adam McNally. So it's only a matter of time, I think, until McNally has to pit. Although at the same time,
oh,
Scott, too many roll outs. Newton loses it again. Oh, that corner is not preferable for him today. And, well, he's going to have to overtake Raul Alvarez for the second time.
Yeah, of course, this is the first outing for Scott in this championship. We don't know how much he has trained with his car because, of course, like I said, he's also running in the Williams league, so he's very quick in there. I think he's just getting used to the car, and he was very quick because in qualifying he was quite fast, starting in the top 5. But like we say, and of course, if you notice in race 2 with 40-minute race, the attrition rate is very big because this car can surprise you when you least expect it. So at the moment you just slightly drop your concentration, or for whatever reason, maybe just to look at the fuel number or something like that, you go around and you lose a lot of time. And here at Suzuka, in many corners, the walls are so close, it's very hard to avoid the barriers when you go around. So gotta be careful, as the gap between Van Loosenord and Sportstra is yo-yoing lap after lap, corner after corner, from 0.9 of a second to 1.5 seconds, all throughout these last few laps. It's basically a repeat of what we saw in race 1 and race 2 at Road America. This is a repeat of race 1 because it's Van Loosenord in front of Sportstra. We'll see what happens from now until the end of the race. Sam, we've got less than 5 minutes left in this first race of the day.
Yeah, Van Loosenol on the last lap set a little bit of a slower first sector. No, well, on this lap actually, really fast. So Spolstra managed to get that gap down to about 0.8 of a second, up to 1.4 seconds now. I think that was just a DRS deployment down the front straight. Van Loosenol managed to pull out about a couple of tenths, so using that to his advantage. But Spolstra's going to keep him honest as Scott Neaton, for the second time, gets past Raul Alvarez. Next up will be Adam McNally, who's really struggling out there, currently lapping. Well, on that last lap, that was the spin, so he's just letting everyone pass, which is the wise thing to do. Scott Neaton up back into the top 10 now, so he will definitely be eligible for the reverse grid, which is where you want to be, of course. And now 12 seconds up to Max Bertzer, sorry.
We might have an interesting situation for race 2 because, as you know, everyone is eligible for the reverse grid. Kip Stevens signed up for the race, didn't show up. Sam Fitzpatrick signed up for the race, didn't show up. So we might have an empty front row in race 2. We'll see. Now you are the expert in reverse grids and all that stuff, so you know how to set it up correctly. I think you can kick a driver out of a reverse if needed, or push him back to the back of. But you know, we'll see. It might be interesting. I mean, if one car is missing, it's a problem. If both cars are missing, it's basically just the pole position starts in P3 and nothing else changes. You had just a slightly bigger run into turn 1, but nothing major. So there could have been bigger problems, just put it this way, but seems okay. Unless you want to start race 2.
Well, I might do, to be honest, because I'm rarely on pole. I don't want to, have a bit of a tantrum or a rant here, but my luck can be VSR radical with the reverse grids. My God. So I'm going to take a pole position whenever one comes my way, regardless of what series it is. Although I do fear for the rest of the drivers up there if I did dare to do that. Still 1.6 seconds between the top two, so it looked as though Spolstra got back down below a second. He was on his way. Well, the way has not really led him anywhere, and Martin van Loosenol establishing back that lead. Of course, now the gap between the first and third is 15 seconds, showing the dominance there. Brian Daly, though, what performance it is from him. Mr. Consistent very much in this series. He's going to pick up some nice points in fourth. And Richard Gafencu just dropping back, actually. In the early stages, he was managing to keep up with Byron Daly, but on that last lap, he was 7/10 slower. And still, good points for him. The one exciting iRacing driver. He hasn't had a spin so far in this race. And then Thomas Knoll is in sixth place. Ashley Beard closing in a little bit on Thomas Knoll, but not nearly enough to catch him by the end of the race.
Now, if my calculations are right, this might be the final lap of the race. And Martin van Loosenor is looking like he could bring home the sixth race in 7, and we can absolutely say that he's been dominating the season. His teammate has always been very, very close, but he needs to do more if he wants to attack Van Loosenor in the championship lead. Of course, he was very, very unlucky in Road America race 2, even though we don't know if Van Loosenor could have passed him or not, because there was like 20 minutes left in the race. So, and many drivers at Road America, Sam, this is very interesting, were really struggling with the tire wear come the end of the race. So we know that Suzuka and the Japanese tarmac are very, very scary for the drivers. We'll see, because these races are longer than the official races, so especially race 2. So We'll see what happens, but in race 1, seems like Van Loosenord and Sportstra 1 and 2 once again.
Yep, rounding the final corner, Martin van Liesnod, 6 out of 7 for car number 7, and he wins race 1 at Suzuka, easing to race victory. Boris Spolstra, as always, pushed him, but never really got close enough for an attack. And take Castani going to round out the podium once again. And, well, we're very much in for a very interesting race too. Certainly, if Spolstra can stay ahead of Van Liesnor, and if Castine can get in the mix as well. Not too much to lose for these drivers. They can afford to, race quite hard without too much fear of crashing. So, yeah, they should be a very good one as the drivers just rounding the final few corners. Thomas Knoll in 6th place. Scott Newton will also finish in 10th. And I think the last driver on the lead up was Raul Alvarez. But I think he's escaped back to the pits now. So, yeah, just got a couple more drivers to cross the line.
Remember the rules. You have to complete the lap, the parade lap. Otherwise, there are some degrees of penalties. I think the first time it's just a reprimand, and then you get it with penalties or in positions and maybe championship points. I say this because somebody has already jumped the gun, like Boris Pursta and Richard Gafenko. Martin van Loosenord instead is still on the track, and we will do the traditional slow motion shot that we give to the race winner. And Martin van Loosenord has got already 6 of these in the season. So good job. And I think, Sam, that we can go through the race results for race 1.
Yep, and it is Martin van Liesnod winning out 2 seconds ahead of Boris Spolstra. They were a long way ahead of Matteo Calistani in the end, but he does round out the podium. Byron Daly, good consistent performance in 4th with Victory Kupenki in 5th. Then it was Thomas Knoll, Ashley Beard, Anthony Mott, Massimo Berta, and Scott Newton rounding out the top 10. Behind that is Raul Alvarez, Adam McNally, and Billy Rose. And then the retirees were David Cudmore and Danny Rose as well. Of course, yeah, we need the reverse grid. It can be anything between, well, I guess in this circumstance, 11 and 70. Or is there a number 10, Marco, that could potentially be?
We have a number 10, yes. We have
We
from
do have a
10
number
up to 20, yes.
10. Okay, cool.
So Scott Newton will be pulling for number 10, all the other drivers, of course, for a higher number. Speaking of the reverse wheel, it should be on your screen right now. There you go. So let's roll it. It basically stopped just between 17 and 10, but unfortunately for Scott Newton and fortunately for fortunately for Kip Stevens, who is not here, it's 17. You might want to join second race. No, all kidding aside, it could be Danny Cruz starting in pole position for race 2, with David Cudmore starting in P2, and of course P3 will be Billy Rose, Adam McNally, and all the other drivers in the order they finish, which you can see on your screen right now. So Scott Newton, no one can accuse us of having a doctor the reverse wheel, because for just a few inches, if you can see on the screen, it wasn't 10. So it's going to be another tough race. I think the quicker drivers will start from the back, but I'd say that Scott Newton and Danny Cruz will have a little bit of a head start, because they will start in front of all the other drivers, especially Calestani, Spurster, and Van Loosen are the podium guys that will start all the way at the back of the grid. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting in this second race, Sam.
Yeah, they got to be super cautious. Well, not super cautious. That's the point. They got to be aggressive at the same time, of course. Yeah, danger lurks around every corner. Having to overtake that many cars. It's sure going to be not one to miss. We will be back in about 20 minutes' time for race 2 of the afternoon here at Suzuka.
Once again, photo finish here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lee to the inside goes Logan Clapton is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though. Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the Paravolca. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the Paravolca. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Last year I was sitting at a desk as a sales manager, and now I'm official McLaren F1 simulated test driver.
So there's 1.4 behind.
This opportunity is huge.
That's it, 46.1. That's faster than the factory McLaren driver, and he's done 6 laps.
Let's go race.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
My name is Stephen Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. Then from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing.
Most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing. Before you can get on track, you'll need to calibrate your wheel and pedal set. You'll need to do this in iRacing even if you have already done this using your own controller software. Prior to entering the sim, make sure you've downloaded and installed the latest drivers from the manufacturer's website. Once that's done, follow these easy steps to calibrate your controller. We recommend calibrating in a test session, so pick a car and then click test. Don't go into a practice or official session. The last thing you want to do is have you go on track and crash into another car. Once you're in your test session, click on the options button. You'll then see input calibration. This is where your calibration takes place. Start by clicking on the steering button. You will then be prompted to turn your wheel fully one direction and then another. Make sure you place your wheel back into its centering position before hitting done. Now, you'll be asked to turn your wheel 90 degrees to the left. Make sure it's at 90 and hold it there while hitting done. For pedals, click on the pedals button. Here you'll be asked to press the throttle all the way down and then release it. You'll do the same for the brake and clutch pedal if you have one. For the gearbox, you'll first be asked to set buttons for sequential shifting. Once complete, a prompt will ask if you have a H pattern shifter. If not, hit no. If yes, click it and you'll begin to map the gears individually. Once you've completed these steps, you are calibrated and ready to go racing.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the Apex Racing League 3.5 Championship. We are here at Suzuka for race 2 of round 4 of the season. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Mark Balvin, and also on the cameras is Marco this afternoon, and we just saw a very entertaining first race of Marco, but this one's going to be quite a lot different. We saw the established drivers very much being able to pull away from the rest of the field. In this one, though, they're going to have to come from the back if they want to win this race 2 of the afternoon.
Yes, 43 degrees track temperature, so you know it's going to be a little bit slidey, let's put it this way. Picture perfect day, you know, clear skies, at least now in the warm-up session. We'll see how it will, if it will change for the race. Of course, it could happen, but you know, it tends to stay more or less the same way. Not a lot of wind, and of course, I'm expecting some great entertainment. Double the distance. No pit stop, of course, but like we saw at in race 2 at Road America, the track, the tires are absolutely pounded. These races are longer than the iRacing official series races, so the drivers have to do a little bit of tire saving if they want to arrive to the end, especially when they are running in a track like this or like Road America, where you have a very, very abrasive surface that really, you know, puts a beating on the tire. So it's going to be very interesting for the second race, as the checkered flag is in the air for the warm-up, and I think in just a few seconds we will be able to go through the starting grid for race 2.
Yes, remember, it was a full reverse for this race 2 from race 1, finishing orders, and that means it's David Cudmore actually on the pole position on the front row with Billy Rose. In third place, it's Adam McNally and Raul Alvarez. In fifth, it's Scott Newton. He's certainly a dark horse for this one. Massimo Berta starts in sixth. Then behind that, it's Anthony Mott, Ashley Beard, Thomas Knoll, and Richard Kafenku rounding out the top 10. And then it's Byron Daly, Matteo Castani, Boris Spolstra, and of course, 6 out of 7 car number 7, Martin van Loosenod. Starting in 14th place, he's got plenty of places to gain. Will he be able to do it? We're about to find out, because everyone's on the grid. And race 2 of the afternoon is about to get underway. David Cudmore from the front row. And away we go. A couple of poor starts for some of the drivers, but it's a good start for Cudmore already. McNally getting past Rose into turn 1 and maybe even attacking the race leader as well. But for now, it seems like David Cudmore is going to be leading this one. Scott Newton also getting past Billy Rose. He's had a really good start, has Newton, up into the top 3. Not too much side by side down the field. Already Van Loosenot and Spolstra up 4 places each, and Raul Alvarez just getting a little bit detached from the rest of the field. But Cudmore, he's going to be under big pressure. You can see McNally and Newton right on his tail.
Yes, what we were expecting, especially from Scott Newton. Of course, Danny Cross didn't take the start in race 2. He's not even in the session, so this gave pole position. Oh, and Anthony Mott is in for a little bit of a ride in the gravel there. Nothing major. You see also Ashley Beard, Van Loosenor and Gafenku trying to get their moves done as quickly as possible as we go back to the battle for the lead.
Yep, here comes McNally. Around the outside of this one, it'll be the inside for Spoon, but maybe Cudmore just with a little bit more confidence on the brakes. He's going to be able to go around the outside, and he's just going to pull ahead momentarily, but he's still going to be under big pressure. 130i, it's a difficult one to go for a move. Certainly on the inside. He's going to try it though, Adam McNally. Down the inside into the penultimate corner. Scott Newton just watching this, hoping that those two will come together. Cudmore has to back out, but in the end, I think they were both flat out there still. And now Newton, can he launch an attack? He's going to try to get the cutback. Cudmore really offline there. Newton should get a much better run, but anything maybe just a little bit conservative. Will they be willing to use their DRS? I don't think they'll allow that in these opening few laps, but it doesn't matter. Scott Newton, he's going to be able to pull ahead, and you can see that Joan of Cuz just in the background. Newton, though, surely moving up into second place. He hasn't got it stuck yet, and David Cudmore, well, he's playing up some good resilience at the moment in his fights, trying to stay in those opening 2 positions, but he is now down into the lowest place on the podium.
Yes, let's switch quickly to that train there. Spolstra, Van Loosenord, Knoll, Billy Rose, Calestani, Mott, Gafenku, and there's that, with Berta and Beard slightly behind. It's going to be fun, I think. Let's see. As Newton moves, like we said, to P2. Sorry about that quick jump to that battle there. As yeah, the two learn to drive guys are pulling away from Thomas Knoll. Now it's up to Billy Rose, Calestani, to make moves quickly. Look at Calestani, straight in at the hairpin. Oh, that was super close between himself and Rose. They make it work, and now Calestani will go and try to catch the two learn to drive boys in front of him.
Yeah, Anthony Motz will be next. Which thank you was very good in race 1 and just going wide. And now contact between the two of them. That's just too aggressive there from Billy Rose. He got onto the grass got onto the track too quickly, and now getting on the grass is Ashley Beard. And well, that's really ruined his race. He needs to make sure he doesn't hit the wall once again. And well, he's going to be miles behind the rest of the field now. Adam McNally still leading the way, but for how much longer? Scott Newton, a man on a charge, and once again, he's got a really nice launch from that chicane, easing ahead. That was super easy there for Scott Newton. Surely McNally won't put up too much of a fight. He realizes that this is not his battle. Newton, well, he might not win this race, but he's certainly giving himself the best chance to contend for it.
Yes, he needs to, of course, avoid the mistakes he had in race 1. Probably has learned from them, and he's already pulling away from McNally. Behind them is Byron Daly, who had a P3 in the second race at Road America last week, and is looking good once again. But of course, behind him, the menacing figures of Spolstra and Van Loosenord. They are trying to get the move done on Cadwell, but also Van Loosenord wants to make a move on his teammate, I think. So this is going to be interesting. They haven't really fought against each other all season long, as McNally is sadly pointing in the wrong direction and out of the race. We'll get to that in a second, as we see the two learn to race guys putting a move on Dave Cadmore, and now they are third and fourth. What happened to Adam McNally? Let's get a replay.
Yeah, another casualty at the hairpin. Probably lost it on traction, as so many have done as well. Yep. Oh, wow, that was a big hit contact, wasn't it? Yep, race over for Adam McNally. Very disappointing to see. Of course, the Spolstra Loosenord battle is so important. That's, let's face it, that's the race for the win. They've got so much more pace than the rest of the drivers out there. And Loosenord closing up a little bit in the slipstream. Really, slipstream effect in this car, very powerful. And so overtaking should be possible for the faster driver. He seems to have a little bit more pace than his teammate in race 1. But you can be certain that Spolstra is not going to let this one go. He wants his first race win of the season.
Yeah, especially since he was super close at Road America, leading halfway through the race. And that lapped car, of course, like I said earlier, ended his dreams of a possible race win. Seems like the table is set for another 1-2, but I want to see these two guys fight on the track for once. So it's going to be super interesting to see if they will be able to do that, as they already lapped. Max Berta is having some troubles and is already one lap down.
Yeah, maybe came into the pits. Yeah, he had a 54-second pit stop. Or 48-second stationary pit stop. So, yeah, that's what cost him so much time. All of a sudden, the top 4 really close. Byron Daly, more pace than Scott Newton. Didn't really show that in race 1. It was Newton's mistakes that let him down. If not, he was probably going to beat Byron Daly. But in this one, Daly catching him hands over fist. And this could be the battle for the final spot on the podium. Going defensive is Newton. Round the outside now. This could be an awesome move. And that is an awesome move from Byron Daly, taking the lead of the race. Surely not going to be able to respond yet. It's Scott Newton's Spolstra just puts his nose on the inside. That could be unwise, because it did compromise his run ever so slightly through the Casio triangle. And now Spolstra trying to get into the slipstream. They're all going to have the slipstream, easing past there. That was super easy. And now, surely, Van Loosenord is going to be able to make the move as well. Newton, well, there's no point in fighting this one, because he's going to lose out eventually anyway. And, well, now we've got a top 3 of Daly, Spolstra, and Van Loosenord.
Yes, things have changed very, very quickly from first to fourth for Scott Newton in the span of a couple of corners. And once again, the two Learn to Race guys are so close to each other, already pulling away from Newton. And once again, we will see. They've been, they don't need to fight, of course, because even if Van Loosenhoff finishes in third, it will be okay. Second, okay as well, behind his teammate. Of course, they have to pass Byron Daly, which is not an easy task. Newton seems to be able to stay there for the time being, even though they are being... Oh, look at that. Sportstra going for the move.
And now making the move, and also going through is Van Loosenhoff. Well, Daly's probably lost not too much time there. Well, he tried to respond against the Learn to Race driver, although to be fair, Van Loosenhoff with very good straight line speed getting the slipstream from his own teammate. And they are going to be so close into 130, or maybe even a chance into the Casio Triangle, having to go defensive. The two Learn to Race drivers side by side. This is what we wanted to see all season, and sticking his nose there. Did not think that Van Loosenhoff would stick it round the outside, but he's under big pressure now, is Boris Spolstra. And if he wants to win this race, if he wants to win a race this season, he's got to defend very hard. And here he goes, to the inside. Round the outside is going to be Van Loosenhoff. He's almost going to make that. I think he is going to make it, but just running a little bit offline, having to back out of it. And well, this is going to be fantastic racing in the next half an hour.
Proper racing so far. And also very respectful from every driver, especially in this top four. You see them, they are inside 1.2 seconds basically of each other, 1.3. Sportstra, Van Loosenhoff, Byron Daly and Scott Newton, the newcomer to the championship, but of course great experience in fast open wheelers, so it's not a surprise to see him already up front. Mistakes in race 1, race 2. He looks like he's going to be able to contend for the podium. And once again they go through... I mean, the lap is 1 minute 42 seconds around here, more or less, but it goes by so quickly. And it's so beautiful to see these cars go through the flowing corners of this racetrack. Van Loosenhoff is pushing extremely hard, Sam.
Yeah, barely losing any time though, getting onto the AstroTurf. And the thing is, he's still going to catch him by the time they get to 130 yards. Look at that acceleration from him. He's going to go to the outside, and he's going to go into the lead, Martin Van Loosenhoff. Now the question is, can Spolstra respond? He's got to stay ever so close to this chicane, because so far we've seen the slipstream effect really powerful, and maybe if he can just stay close enough, he might have a chance. But he's now dropped 0.6 of a second behind, so that might just be the lead of the race over for now. And well, Spolstra is going to be very difficult to get back past till the end of the race. Neeson still not getting close enough to Daly, and they're losing a lot of time currently to Matteo Calistani up into 5th place.
Yes, we haven't talked about Calistani because he's taking his time to get back to the top, but now he's in P5, and I think he will be involved in a battle for P3 very soon. Like you said, both Daly and Newton are losing time to the Italian driver. And now Van Loosenhoff trying to pull away from his teammate Byron Daly. Newton also pulling away from each other, and Calistani is coming as well, but still a little bit behind. So let's go to this battle here. Thomas Knoll and Anthony Mott for P7.
Yeah, not sure if Knoll just made that move. You'd expect Knoll to be faster, yeah. So Knoll only just made that move, so he should be able to pull away. Mott, though, not giving up yet. Made a couple of mistakes in race 1. In fact, only one mistake, to be fair. I think he had one spin at Spoon. And so far in this race, I don't think he's had any mistakes, so that's good for the Excite iRacing driver. And yeah, currently running in 8th place.
So this is what happened. They mistake from Knoll, and Mott goes by. Then later on, Knoll gets the position back.
Well, that was a rare mistake from Thomas Knoll. Usually Mr. Consistent in this race as they go side by side. Whoa, we've seen great action around the 130R so far today. And, well, nearly saw another overtake. Knoll having to really defend hard. Difficult as the following driver to stay close through that chicane. You can see how Mott is really just lost out there. I don't think he's going to be in range for the overtake going into first curve. By the way, Out's in the lead up to 1 second that gap, so Spolster's pretty much lost the slipstream effect. It just seems around this circuit, maybe not the same at Road America, just seems as though Van Loosenholt has got quite a considerable edge to his teammate.
Calestani has gained 1 second over Newton in lap 4, 1.4 seconds in lap 5, 1 second in lap 6, and 3/10 of a second in lap 7. So he is coming. He might have made a mistake in that last lap and still able to gain a bit over Newton. So he is definitely coming and will try to get that final podium spot away from Byron Daly, and Newton, of course, also trying to battle for that place there.
Yeah, a couple of podiums would be a good result for Matteo Calestani today. And yeah, like you said, 1 point, did get down to 2 seconds, but just taking different lines. Round Spoon.
Daly is going very, very slow.
Yeah, I thought that was a back marker for a second there, but is that a slowdown?
So Newton goes through. Let's see if he picks up the pace once again.
Can't imagine where you'd pick up a slowdown around that part of the circuit. And once again, he's very slow. Laying past Matteo Calestani now. So what is going on right now for Byron Daly?
This was very weird. I'm trying to get... Let's see from here if you see something strange. All seems okay.
Ooh, that's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Not changing up the gear.
Hardware problem, I imagine, for Byron Daly. He couldn't go up. He could only go down with the gearbox. Now he could go up in fourth.
Well, he's continued to lose time, unfortunately. He's now 1.3 seconds behind Matteo Calestani.
See, now the chicane is in fourth, in third second, so going down the gears is not a problem. And you see, yeah, he has major problems in his upshifts. So it is very, very weird. I'm guessing it's an hardware problem.
Well, it's a great simulation of a gearbox issue, isn't it? People sometimes say, you know, should we have mechanical issues in iRacing? Well, you know, hardware is very important as well, and I guess that's kind of where the simulation lies. Well, I assume they don't have a proper simulator for a broken gearbox, but well, that's a big issue for Byron Daly. Well, he's got to be on top form to beat Scott Newton and Matteo Calestani. So if he can't shift up a couple of gears, then that's going to be a big issue. He has kind of been able to maintain the gap, though, at the end of that lap, but we'll just have to monitor that. Hopefully, that issue will resolve itself. The gap between the two leaders maintaining game. That last lap, Spolstra was 3/100th slower than his teammate and race leader Martin Van Loosenholt, staying around a second between the two of them. So, well, it seems as though Van Loosenholt, though, just has that extra bit of pace whenever he needs it, and so it's going to be difficult for Spolstra to put any kind of challenge on him.
Yeah, it's also going back to the technical problems. It goes back to a different era of motorsport because you know, you can try and fix the problem yourself. I remember in one of the rounds of the iRacing Grand Prix Championship a few months ago, Matteo Calestani had I think his right paddle of the steering wheel break 1 hour before the race, and he was able to create a temporary solution with some tape and was able to do the race and I think get a podium in that race. So as now he gets the move done on Scott Newton and he's up to P3. Will Newton respond? He's on the outside of the Casio triangle. No way around here for Scott, and Calestani gets P3. You know, back to the days you read all the stories about the heydays of motor racing with drivers and teams repairing the cars last minute with parts they found from fans in the parking lot and all that stuff, no? So
Yeah, of course. Well, whether it's better or not nowadays, I think I personally prefer more drives. Actually, I was yeah watching a video the other day, and I think the most amount of retirements in any one F1 race last season was 6, which is remarkably low. You think back, just 15 years ago, or maybe not 15 years ago, but 20 years ago, 6 was relatively few. It really does change. How things have been as Scott
oh,
Newton, well, once again has dropped at 2 spins in race 1. Well, he's got away without too much damage there. There might be some floor damage, but he's given up that charge for 3rd place, and he's also given up 4th.
we've seen in real life many problems just like that in that corner. I had a serious sense of deja vu while I was watching Scott go into the gravel there. Seems to be okay. This car was very sensitive to damage in the first weeks of the season, and now Daly gives him the position back, I think. No, still in front of Scott, but Scott will have a massive speed difference and he might go for a move there on the 130R, but no, seems like Byron will be able to keep the position for now. So he was able to save the car. I was sure that Daly was going to spin there.
I'm sure that Matej Hassan would have wanted a bit of a battle between these two, but, well, they've kind of faltered. And it's given him quite a handy advantage, about 5 seconds all of a sudden. Here comes Newton, though, in the slipstream. He's historically got a good run out of the Casio triangle. And now he's going to go to the inside into turn 1, but thought much better of it. As long as he stays close, he should be able to get a better opportunity in the next couple of laps.
I was watching back a few months ago the 1996 season of IndyCar, which was really the first season of Champ Car because they still had the rights to name IndyCar. Even though I knew how the season went because I read Alex Zanardi's book about his stay in Champ Car, it was remarkable to watch these races, and you watch these races that were happening like 20 years ago, and I was holding my breath every time because there could have been, mechanical issues were like around the corner. Driver was leading the race and all of a sudden he was parking on the side of the track because he had an engine problem or any kind of failure, and it was, I have to say, very exciting because no lead was ever safe, and the cars were fantastic. Of course, they had beautiful sound, beautiful design, but still, I remember in Formula 1 was the same, and also in the recently born Indy Racing League. Also, they had a lot of retirements, lot of well, they had also other problems in the Racing League in those days because if you watch those races from 96, 97, 98, the first 3 years of the championship, every weekend you come to the race session and they are talking about a bad crash happening in qualifying and driver in hospital. They were so dangerous, those cars, so fast. The ovals didn't have any kind of safer barrier or new stuff. The ANS device was not used, and there have been many bad crashes, especially since the Indy Racing League was very low cost, and so you had a lot of drivers that had no business racing on an oval in a high downforce car. But still, the races were absolutely fantastic, even if the Indy Racing League was not very good in the beginning. But still, the races were nice enough and you can find all these seasons on YouTube. So when you're in the winter, especially when you are missing your racing fix, also you have Apex Racing TV, of course, but also if you want, you also have all these old seasons of racing which are absolutely amazing.
I was actually watching one of the UB8 rounds, one of the first ever ones they did the other day, as Richard Gofenki has an off. Well, another casualty at the Dignity. He's had a few issues, I think, as Richard Gofenki. He's in 9th place currently. And, well, yeah, the last lap was a bit slow as well, so not sure what's going on there. So, yeah, issues for him, if he'll be able to get back up to the field. But, yeah, I was watching a Euro V8 race earlier on, just watching JP Boosterland win superbly at Lime Rock Park. Of course, the Euro V8 comes back on Saturday, of course. And we had the media day, and also World GT starts tomorrow in the GTE car. Brand new thing for the series. I think that'll be me and Adam Barth bringing you the action tomorrow evening. That's quite some championship, super competitive. Maybe not quite as competitive as the BSRTC Winter Series, of course, due to one driver taking part, but certainly very competitive is the World GT. You do not want to miss that. And yeah, so I guess the racing fix, I think certainly Apex Racing TV can't supply that. Or a bit of a dull December with a couple of series going into hibernation, but they're certainly coming back out now. And of course, F1 will be back in 2 months' time, which certainly do look forward to very much. 1.6 seconds between the top two, so.
I don't know if you know, but Euro V8 was also the name of a real-life championship.
I was searching for the Facebook page, and yeah, I did see something about that.
Yeah, the championship sadly is dead now because it was an Italian championship, and they were racing. I was actually I found out a pile of old racing magazines the other day from like 2005, 2006, and there was a season review of the 2006 season of the Euro V8 Championship, and it was a big, there were big crowds. The racing was fantastic. The cars were very cheap. Basically, it was, they were silhouette cars. The cars were identical, and you built, the outside of the car to look like a real car, But in reality, the cars were equal. And so after a few seasons, the Italian the Automobile Club decided to take over the championship, and of course they made a complete mess, and I think it died in 2014.
Oh, so quite recent, to be fair.
Quite real, yeah. It had a very, very good run. The name was Euro V8 series, so... but I have to say the Euro V8 championship that we broadcast on Apex is a absolutely worthy successor, even though just randomly because the name is not related. But yeah, it's absolutely great, and that was an Italian championship. Even though we had some rounds in Europe, but it was mainly based as an Italian championship. So Sam, 15 minutes left in the race, and it's nice to see the cloud come and go as the laps go by. So far it seems to be all nice. Newton wasn't able to capitalize on the mistake of Byron Daly, because he's been able Daly to pull away once again from Scott Newton.
Well, Daly's actually caught up to, sorry, interrupting, but Calistani's just fallen back ever so slightly. It was 5 seconds, it's 4.5 seconds now, but Daly putting a decent amount of pressure on, and I just wonder maybe that could become relatively close by the end of the race. Calistani does a 42.7. Can Daly do a 42 himself? 42.99, so he can do a 42, but maybe just one bad lap there for Calistani.
Yeah,
but trying to keep him relatively honest.
I'm looking at the lap times. The Calistani gained 2 tenths in the lap 12, 1 tenth in lap 13, so it's not much. Then he lost 8 tenths of a second in lap 14, and now gained 2 tenths of a second. So he might have made a mistake, but there's not much difference between the lap times of these two guys. And this means that if Calistani makes a mistake, Daly will be able to pounce, and if the gap gets too big, then Calistani won't be able to come back at Daly, who's looking for another podium, like I said, after he got a very nice podium in race 2 of Road Americas. Richard Gaffenko is having a terrible, terrible day, and now I think he has damaged his rear wing there, because I saw his car in a dangerous position and resting on the pit lane wall. Let's get a replay of that.
Yeah, so good race 1. Oh, just got on the grass there. Just
no, I think he got away with it, yeah.
It's always very intimidating, those pit lane entrance. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's, smashed into the one at Monza or whatever.
Don't worry.
But they're always a bit terrifying.
One of my teammates in the broadcasted Indy 500 hit the wall on the front stretch of Indianapolis.
Actually, Daytona's the worst one on the first corner. I've nearly hit that one in a 24-hour race where I got spun and literally missed it by about a millimeter. Boy, insanely lucky. That one. Oh, good. Thank you. Having a bit of a sticky game. But
people don't know this, but before we actually met each other, we had a close call on the racetrack. I was on the pit lane, but Sam tried to go for a dive bomb on an opponent in the Daytona 24 Hours of 2017, and our DP happened to be just in front of them, and yeah, it was it could have been a very unpleasant way to meet each other.
You still haven't sent me that link, actually.
Oh, you are right. You know, because I have to find the clip in like 14 hours of footage, but it's there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's there. It's there. I promise you, it's there.
That was 2018, wasn't it?
2018. Yes, you are right.
Yeah, 2018. Yeah. Of course, Daytona coming back. I assume you'll be doing that one, Marco.
No, we are having
okay. We'll be safe then.
We are having two very competitive teams on my team, and I don't want to be the ballast in either of them. So I will just do my broadcasting work, I think, because I think most of you guys will be involved in the race. So I will be available for broadcasting and keep an eye on my guys on the side.
Of course, 24. Of course, the first race with the day-night transitions will be quite spectacular. I'm a little bit annoyed, I must say, that it seems as though they're going to be using European times for a American race. It would be amazing if they could have, pretty much identical sunset to real life, so people living in Florida see the sunset on the game and outside their window as well. That would be quite spectacular, but unfortunately I don't think they are going to do that. But still, should be very good fun. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of splits. I think something like 15, last year. So one of the most populous races of the season. We'll just say thanks for everyone for tuning in. We've got still got about 35 viewers, so thanks every one of you. And of course, if you haven't already, leave a like on the video, and also if you're a driver watching this one back or a driver in any series, do like our Facebook page, because then we can what's the word I'm looking for, link you into any of our posts, mention you in any of our posts, so that would be very good indeed. And of course also subscribe to the channel as well. After a little bit of a downtime in terms of the action up there, getting a little bit closer between these two, David Cudmore, and Thomas Knoll. 3/4 of a second between the two of them currently, just working their way through the traffic. And now Knoll is in the slipstream, and maybe will use his DRS to get that bit closer to his rival.
I thought you were going to say he's in the DRS zone, which is completely understandable because we are still used to the MP430. You asked me a question in the very first lap, I forgot to answer. You can use the DRS whenever you want, even on the first lap and even when you start the race. There is no wait time, no buffer time. It's immediately available to you. Now you have a nice number on the display of the steering wheel, but we don't know about that because well, it would be, I think, too easy to spot an opponent and maybe get some precious information. So we are left wondering, and of course it adds to the intrigue, I'd say, as Knoll is getting very, very close to Cudmore, who has been very consistent in this second race, and is looking like he's going to have a possible top 7, top 6 right now. I think Knoll is quicker than him, but we'll see. A lot of things can happen in this final 8 minutes of the race.
Yeah, it sure can. That's relatively raced along, I'd say, this one. Over half an hour of racing already, and relatively clean racing as well. A couple of spins, but I think it's been these drivers have maybe learnt from a few of their errors in the opener. And he is just moving that bit closer. On the last lap, around this part of the circuit. It was about 0.75. This time it's 0.6. So yeah, edging closer and closer. Of course, that turbulent air is going to pay. That first half of the lap really is impossible to overtake round. But now, through this part of the lap, the slipstream can really help you out, just running a little bit wide there. Maybe it's Nolly, you can see him ever so slightly offline, just compromises his run ever so slightly. But he is very much in the slipstream range, and you can see how he'll get closer and closer. He's almost going to be in with a chance of a move into the Cassier triangle, I think. The 130 or maybe a small lift, but a smaller lift there for Nolly. He's looking to the inside of David Goodmore. Goodmore wide, just as he was on the last lap. They're both ever so slightly trying to help their exit. And really, really close. This is fantastic launch now. Maybe using the DRS is Thomas Nolly. Looks to the inside of David Goodmore. Driver who starts it on pole position down into 7th now, unless he can defend. We saw him really strong on the outside at this corner earlier on, but he has had to back down. Maybe he'll be able to put some pressure on later on, but Thomas Knoll up into the top 6.
Good move by Thomas Knoll there, and now he's up to P6. Once again with this beautiful Renault factory livery. So quick rundown through the field. We've got Martin van Loosenhoorn is in first place, and you can see right now the gap to Boris Spoelstra, 1.6 seconds. Boris Spoelstra has got 22 seconds over Matteo Calestani, who's right here, with 7 seconds over Byron Daly. And Scott Newton is sitting P5, 2 seconds behind the American driver. Then Thomas Knoll, you just saw him go by David Catmore. And then behind them is Anthony Mott, 13 seconds back, and behind Anthony, 30 seconds behind is Richard Gafenko, who is absolutely... Oh, wow! That was the race leader.
Wow. Gaps come down
Is
between the top two.
Yes,
that was very close. Gotta get a replay of that one on board with Martin van Loosenhoorn.
Here we go. It has been the second race 2 in a row that the race leader has been taken out by a lapped car. Luckily, this didn't happen.
Oh. He went through him, didn't he? We gotta get slow-mo of this. Oh my goodness me. Well, that he certainly hit the exhaust. My goodness.
That was too close for comfort, I'd say. I don't think the race stewards will be happy about that. A little bit of a scary moment. It seems like Van Loosenhoorn is still able to keep his gap over his teammate, but we will see, because we have a little bit left. 4 minutes, so I think a couple of laps, maybe 3. You can see right now on your screens the gap between these two drivers, and of course their recent lap times. And you can also see now they will go through, and 1 lap will be added, and he gained 0.4 of a second in lap 20, Spoelstra, and now he gained 0.3 of a second in lap 21. We are in lap 22 right now, so we'll see. It always seems like these two guys, they get to this like 1 second, 1.2 second gap, and then they stay there. They don't, they cannot get any closer, or maybe they don't want to get any closer, even though they fought earlier in the race when Spoelstra was leading. So we'll see. But so far it seems like Van Loosenhoorn will be able to keep the position.
Yeah, Spoelstra certainly wants to win this one. He's certainly giving it his absolute all. He just doesn't have that pace advantage. And what I said earlier with Van Loosenhoorn having the maybe just that extra, 2/10 when it really matters. He does just have a small advantage. Of course, earlier on, Spoelstra couldn't break the toe to his teammate. And, well, that really cost him in the end, because it was a very elementary move in the end for the Dutchman, because they're both Dutch. So,
yes.
yeah. And the Dutch are so good at sim racing. I don't understand this. Sorry, but Rudy Van Buren, Bono Huis, and it was Schotthouse, wasn't it? Were the McLaren drivers last year, all from the Netherlands. Quite incredible.
they are not they are not Finland, but they are close to Finland level, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, back in the day when I started in 2002, it was, like I always say, Greg Ruto was already the quickest and fastest and most famous driver in the world of sim racing back in the days of Grand Prix Legends and then NASCAR racing. One thing that I wanted to say, both in race 1 and in race 2, and I forgot to make this point, which is a very important point, so apologies for saving it for the final 2 minutes of the race. I've noticed that the organizers have kept the dirt and the marbles on the track, and you can see the track outside of the racing line is absolutely filthy. There's all sort of stuff. You see all the sand and the gravel. So this, I don't think it's too good for racing, Sam, because when you move outside of the racing line, your tires will pick up all that nasty stuff. You will lose grip, so it becomes even more difficult to make a move on your opponent. And you can see quite clearly from these shots that the track is really, really full of, I think that is gravel and also the marbles and all that stuff. Even now you can see quite clearly in these shots here. It's something that I see, for example, the BSR leagues do all the time. I don't think it's too good for racing because it's quite difficult to drive this car in ideal conditions. But if you have all these sorts of hurdles left and right on the track, it's even more tough.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, certainly debate whether or not that should be implemented. Boris Spolstra, this lap, well, brace yourselves. Van Liesnor does a 41.39, Spolstra a 40.78. He just will not go away. One more lap to go. This is the final lap. He's probably got maybe one more DRS left. Not quite sure. I don't think it's going to be enough, but he's certainly put up a fantastic effort. There's no other battles going on down the field. The closest one is Daly versus Neaton, but that's kind of maintained at about 2.5 seconds. So Spolstra, well, he's just got to wait for a mistake from Martin Van Liesnor, but this season, apart from race 2 at the Nürburgring,
Calestani!
Calestani from the podium places, puts it in the wall at the first corner. He's still in 3rd place, but here comes Daly round the outside with ease, going onto those marbles, but he's just about okay. Calestani wants to fight. There is no chance of fighting because he's got a lot of damage on that car, and now it's a case of whether or not he'll be caught by Scott Newton. And looking at that steering, I think it's only a matter of time.
Yes, let's stay on this battle for a second before switching to the race lead for the final corners. What a surprise, especially from a very, very experienced driver like Calestani. I was not expecting that. He seems to be able to stay behind Daly, but like you said, I think his steering is a bit damaged. Let's go to the leaders now.
Yep, Martin Van Liesnor. This is going to be his 7th race victory of the season, a commanding lead in the championship, and this has been a fantastic effort. From 14th on the grid, he wins race 2 at Suzuka. Well done to him as Calestani is coming back. Damage or not, he wants 3rd position. The positive sim racing driver moves back ahead now. This is going to be quite simple, I think, for Daly to at least pull alongside. Although that straight line speed of that green car is still half decent. And Calestani's going to have to go defensive now. Flat out, the pair of them. This is ever so close between the two of them, and now Daly's got the ideal line. Calestani not giving up. He's going to go round the outside. Daly just pushes him out. That's really good move from Byron Daly, and he is going to take another podium. That was a very hard fought podium in the end, and that was a fantastic move right at the close.
Some great racing. Scott Newton is in 3rd. Let's get a replay of that mistake from Calestani. Did he brake on the grass? No, he hit the curb too hard and went into the wall. At least that's... let's see also a shot from his onboard camera.
Well, I think he'd already lost it on turning, hadn't he? He was over-rotating the car. Already the rear end was going round, and getting on the grass on the curb didn't exactly help him either.
Maybe get a slow motion from up above, if we can get a glimpse of what happened. Yeah, you are right. You already lost the car. Yes, we can clearly see. Of course, this is why Sam Fitzpatrick has got like 3K rating or something like that, and I've got 800. You know,
3.7. Thank you very
3.7.
much. Actually, I think it fell down to 3.6 recently. Been good. Yeah, there you go.
Everyone has crossed the start finish line, and so I think we can go through the official race results for race 2.
Yes, and once again, how many times have we said this so far this season? Well, 7 times. Martin van Loosenholt winning ahead of Boris Folster. Pushed him again, but lost the lead crucially relatively early on. Just couldn't get back past in the end. Byron Daly profited from a late mistake from Mateo Cassain to finish in third. Scott Newton was fifth. There's Thomas Knoll. Another good performance from him in sixth. There's David Cudmore and Anthony Mott. Raul Alvarez was 1 lap down, and the retirees Richard Gavenku, Billy Rose, and teammate Berta, Adam McNally, and Ashley Beard in 14th place. Apparently, Byron Daly never had that happen before. Paddle shifter failed for 2 laps, and then it fixed itself. So that was what happened to Byron.
Well,
Pretty much we already knew that.
he got rewarded with, he persevered and he got rewarded with a nice podium position in the end. So, sometimes there are drivers that at the first sign of problem, they park the car and they retire and go maybe get a drink or something. He stayed in it, and he got rewarded because Calestani's mistake was in the end, and I think that Byron needed all the time he gained, because it was neck and neck until the final corner. So well deserved. Of course, commiserations to Matteo, because it's always heartbreaking to have a mistake or a problem in the final lap. But that's the way it goes. And speaking of Byron Daly, I think we have him ready for an interview.
Yes, we do. Byron, well done out there. Really good result there. P3 in the end. I think you got P4 in race 1 as well. Just take us through that paddle shifter problem that you had earlier on.
Yeah, I had a really good start for once, and things are going well, and I try to upshift to go to fourth, and it's just hitting the chip, and I wiggled the shifter and all that stuff. I got it to go in. There was a couple laps where I just had to hold the shifter until it shifted. Then I started getting double upshifts, and after a while it kind of normalized itself and it was back to how it was supposed to be. It was the weirdest thing I've ever had happen. It would happen while I was running as well as I was, but I guess I got a gift in return for that. That was a pretty crazy end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. When you're in that situation, were you pushing very hard when you were in fourth place, thinking, well, Mateo could make a mistake, or were you just trying to hold back Scott in those closing stages, or were you not pushing at all and just settling for the fourth?
So after I got going again, I started pushing. I had a massive oversteer moment, which, basically kind of messed up my race. I started closing a little bit and I was pushing again. And about actually coming to that lap, I was just going to settle for where I was. And then I saw a car off in turn 1. So it became a race.
Yeah, definitely. And that's some ending to the race. You were side by side with Matteo going through 130R. Certainly easier said than done. Was there any doubts in your mind, maybe just to back out of it, settle for the fourth, or were you always going to try to get the podium?
I was going to go for the podium. I feel like I practice a lot running side by side with guys in places you're not really supposed to. So I felt pretty confident in being able to hold my line. I wasn't sure how it was going to end. It could have ended in tears, but I was definitely going to keep my foot in it, and it paid.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job with that effort. And before we let you go, Byron, any thanks you'd like to give?
Just thanks to you guys for broadcasting it. This league, it's a lot of fun, and it's something different for me, and I'm really enjoying it. So it's just been a blast.
Thanks, Byron, and we'll see you next week. We've also got an interview with race winner, 7-time race winner now, Martin van Loozenhout. Martin, really well done out there. That wasn't necessarily domination, but it's really pushed you hard today. But in the end, you just seem to have the ever so slight advantage on him, and well, that gave you the 2 race wins today.
Hello. Yes, was great racing. Boris as well. We were very close and as expected. So yeah, was nice to race.
Yeah, definitely. And in that race too, you had to make your way up through the field, and then you had the slipstream on Boris. And I guess when you're within half a second, that slipstream is so powerful that it made the overtake relatively simple for you.
Yeah, definitely. I tried it. I tried it to do the around the outside in the chicane, last chicane. I did that with Riku as well last 2 nights ago, and that didn't went well. So I decided to back off a little bit and yeah, try it the other way around. So yeah, but yeah, like you say, the advantage that you have when you're in the slipstream is quite big. So you just want to make sure that you're within 5/10, and then yeah, you just pass pretty easy.
Yeah, and with the DRS out there, of course, you get a certain amount across the race. What's your strategy in terms of that? Do you kind of leave it all till the end, or do you like evenly distribute them as the race goes on?
Well, normally when I start in front, I'll just leave it and see how it goes, and sometimes I use it just to put in a good lap time. And in race 2, I used it a little bit more to do some overtakes. But yeah, in the end, when you use it, it doesn't matter because the last gear suddenly stops at 274, even if you use DRS. So yeah, sometimes it's just throwing away one DRS by accident. But yeah, I don't know what the strategy is. I think you should save a bit for the last couple of laps.
Yeah, probably a good tactic there. And before we let you go, Martin, any shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, I would like to thank Jeroen Kwekel. I would like to thank Boris for working on the setup and doing a good week. Also, good try from Denny, but he had to do some real racing yesterday at Zandvoort. So unfortunately, he didn't drive the last race. But I also want to thank the rest of the team and the sponsors.
Thanks, Martin, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
We are also going to get an interview with Scott Newton as well. Hi, Scott. A couple of mistakes out there overall today. You might feel a little bit frustrated, but considering that it was your first meeting of the season, a lot of positives because you're bang on the pace and really fighting for podiums in both races.
Yeah, hey Sam. Yeah, to be honest, it was a little bit out of the ordinary for me being in this car. First round in any shape or form in this car, so yeah, it was just trying to get to grips with it. But thankfully, I had a solid setup to begin with from a fellow teammate. So really appreciate that from him. And he's also leg organizer. So Kevin, cheers for that. But yeah, just due to the hot temperatures as well, that was a huge factor for me getting used to the car as well, because that was probably a good 4 or 5 degrees hotter than what I've been used to all week in testing with another car that I had for another league this week. So yeah, it was just the varying grip level that I was struggling at there a little bit. But yeah, to know that I'm on the pace and at least fighting for top 5 each and every week in this car, yeah, it's a positive for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, yeah, to get up to about 43 degrees track temperature at one point, which is very, very warm. Was the tire degradation an issue out there? Michael was saying earlier on how at Road America it was an issue for some drivers. Was it a problem out there in race 2 today?
Potentially it was. I made a small adjustment the 20 minutes before race 2, so it was not as much of a issue for me. But with the way that the car reacts when trying to get the power down is quite an interesting way that the car does it. But yeah, you've just got to be mindful on the throttle. Otherwise, I'm sure that you caught in race one that ended up in the barrier or very, very close to it. Especially Degner 1 and Degner 2. They're the real trouble spots, or the Exeter Spoon where the track falls away as well. So, yeah, it's something that you might have to build into the setup to manage the tires, but it was a combination of the 43-degree track temp as well that played havoc with the drivers today.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a lot of issues down at the Degners and also at the hairpin as well was a real trouble spot. Next week we've got Zandvoort. Very much an old school circuit. Super narrow, if this circuit isn't it. Certainly Zandvoort is very narrow. One of the most difficult circuits to overtake around that we visit. Yeah, any thoughts towards that one?
It's going to be a tricky one for the drivers for sure, but I won't be here next week due to the fact that every second Monday I start work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and these races are very, very late. It's currently 25 past 12 in the morning, West Australian time. So, yeah, trying to get up at 6 a.m. for work the next day is not going to be an easy task. So I hope to be back for round number 6.
Yeah, we certainly hope to see you then, Scott. And before we let you go, any thanks you'd like to give?
Yeah, I'd just like to give a huge shout out to Apex Racing UK and all the support that they've given me over the past few years. Also to the sponsors, JCL Sim Racing, Lear Bodnar, Sim Steering, St. Peter's PC Systems, and obviously to you guys as well for broadcasting the league, and also to the race organisers as well for bringing on a Super League. Cheers.
Thanks, Scott. So, round 4 over and done with then, Marco. Of course, next up we move to Zandvoort. Already a few comments about that. But yeah, that's going to be quite an interesting one. I think so little runoff area around there. It's almost like a street circuit with the barriers so close. And yeah, it's going to be a tough one for the drivers, no doubt.
I mean, we have seen with this car overtakes everywhere, and I think Zandvoort is going to be the ultimate test. Because if they can make a lot of moves there as well, then I think that this car can make overtakes everywhere. Of course, we are racing at the home track of the Learn to Race boys, so I'm expecting. I think they will, especially. Well, we said that. Of course, Danny Cruz, a real life driver, and he was at Zandvoort yesterday, and I saw him race on the TCR Europe race at Zandvoort. So I'm quite sure he knows the track really well. I don't know if also Martin van Loosenhoorn and Boris Spoelstra have track time. I know that Martin is a very, very big fan of motorcycling, from judging by his Facebook posts. So I maybe got a run there or two around the track. I don't know about Boris, but racing at home, it's always that extra little bit of special, and I'm sure they are going to do their best, and they will be up front once again. Maybe we can see the first victory for either Boris or Danny in that round. And who knows, because you said the track is very narrow, so we might see some contacts, especially with the reverse grid in race 2. It's not going to be easy for the quicker drivers in race 1 to make up their positions, and not because of maybe because it's tough to pass, but also because it's very easy to get involved in some drama. So honestly, I cannot wait, and it's going to be another fantastic round. And Zandvoort, don't miss that, because it's going to be another fantastic round. And like Sam was saying before, basically from tomorrow we are back starting with the usual, regular programming here on Apex Racing TV. Even though we are still missing a couple of championships that will start in the next few weeks, like the World F3 Championship on Wednesdays, and we are going to have on Thursdays the Sim Racing World GT Championship. So I'd say that on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and on Thursdays we might have like 2 races going on at the same time on the channel, which is, what more can you ask? Because you can switch back and forth, flip through the various channels. is going to be very, very interesting to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the sim race as well starts on Thursday as well.
Oh, okay,
So,
fantastic.
yeah, really cool. Of course, we've also got the BSR Radical, so two really good races actually. Because when we covered the sim race as well, it was very entertaining as well. So it's going to be difficult to choose which one you go for. And then, yeah, of course, tomorrow the big one, World GT. Not sure how long the season is. Is it a year-long season, Marco, or is it 6 months?
You know what? I only commented on one race in my life, in my career on World GT, and I remember it was like late. It was September, and I think so. The season is going to be a bit long, yes, or
Yes,
something
so
like that. I mean, it was. I'm sure it was September. I don't know if it was the back end of the second half of the season. Even though it was, I think, the penultimate round at Bathurst, or was it like a longer season? Honestly, I'm very, very ignorant in that, and I will study for the test next week.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We've also got MX5 action tomorrow evening as well. And of course the UV8s as well probably starts on Saturday. What a good week it's going to be on Apex Racing TV. You do not want to miss it. Of course, do subscribe to keep notified about all our videos popping up through the week. But for now, from me and from Marco, we'll see you next Sunday for Zanbot. And yeah, we'll see you then.